Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Underground, and today we're talking about the rapper Descendent.
Andy Beats.
So the rapper Descendant, he's from Newport News, Virginia, and he got started into music pretty much like all of us, through education. Like you know how like you learn your ABCs, nursery rhymes, stuff like that. You kind of like learn stuff through repetition of music, like learning your address, learning your phone number as like a little kid. Like his mom teaching him those things like with rhythm, with music and stuff. So that's pretty much how he got into music, and then eventually, as he got older, he got into poetry, and then it went on from there.
And I would learn that all through rhythm, through song, because I couldn't. It was very difficult for me in the classroom to sit and just like listen and learn. Like I was more hands-on. So that was like my early beginnings of loving music and loving songs, lyrics, cadences, and melodies and things of that nature that I fell in love with and started to write poetry in the beginning of my, I guess, journey into being an artist. It was the poetry thing that got me started. Because I didn't know nobody who made beats, so I started with poetry. So that's how it all began.
These are some artists that inspired Descendant. Rappers like Tupac, Nas, Mos Def, Busta Rhymes, Mobb Deep, Jay-Z, and even Missy Elliott, mostly with like her creativity, with her videos and the way how she flows with her rap style, really inspired him as well. So pretty much Descendant, he got his rap name from looking up his government name and the meaning of it, and it had two different meanings. The first one was the village watcher, and the second one was a descendant of a lineage. So he went with that one. He was like, descendant, I like that, and it just was history from there on. He started taking music seriously when he was recording music in a barbershop he used to go to, because the barbershop was a barbershop but also had a music studio in there. So that's when he started recording music and taking it seriously pretty much immediately.
Once I started recording music, I took it seriously. And learning the process of how to record, how to record a chorus. It should be different from your verse. It shouldn't sound like your verse. It should sound like a chorus. People should know this is the chorus, like voice inflection and putting emotion behind it and not sounding like you're reading off a piece of paper with your finger on it. You know what I'm saying? Like learning how to rehearse the song before you get in the studio. Like this is like my very first, because the studio that I was recording at in it, like when I first started, it was the barbershop that I was going to. So my barbershop had a studio at the same time. And yeah, that's how I learned to, once I learned to record, and then I started performing in high school and stuff like that, the high school talent shows. That's when I was taking it serious, like and hearing that feedback. That's when I was starting to take it serious. Although my very first time like performing, I got booed, but it just gave me more ammunition to come back harder next year.
His official first project was called Pass the Torch, which is still available on his YouTube channel and DatPiff, if that's still out there. I'm pretty sure it is. DatPiff, so you can go and check that out. Pass the Torch by Descendant.
It was my very first solo project. Before I was just, like a lot of people, starting groups, and but once that didn't happen, it was just like I still want to do music. So yeah, that was my first project. It's called Pass the Torch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember like any of the topics you spoke
on
that
sure.
Project?
I remember the recording process. I remember finished, I remember spending the night in the studio, and I was at, shout out my man Byron. I was at his house, his mom's house in the garage. He had a studio set up and recording. Sound wasn't all, wasn't great because we didn't have the foam or nothing like that. It was literally like straight out getting that, what they say, out the mud.
Yeah.
But as far as recording music goes, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't crispy, clean, clear. It was muffled. It was what, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I just remember printing out rest in peace to my uncle Fred. Man. It just hit me because I remember printing out the album covers, and my uncle was helping me print out the album covers and cutting them up and putting them in CDs, and like, I remember all of that, man. I remember all of that stuff. Recording and listen to it for the first time in the car, then listen to it in my headphones, then listen to it on the computer, on computer speakers, just to see how it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I remember all of that. The emotions behind each song, performing it at colleges, trying to go on tour with it, and I remember all that.
So around what year was that? Like, cause I've never heard of you talk about this project or anything. That's why I'm like, I'm about to go and check this thing out.
Yeah, this is. I think this is like, again, I might be dating myself, but this is before streaming. This is before Spotify or any of that. This was the mixtape era where it was DatPiff, all those mixtape websites, and YouTube.
What got Descendent into directing and producing films was being inspired by people like John Singleton, Spike Lee, one of my favorites, and also Ice Cube. And also he just wanted to be different from like your average rapper. Like he wanted to, differentiate himself, not just be a rapper, but show his other talents as well. This is him talking more on that.
I remember he had an interview where he was talking to John Singleton, and John Singleton influenced him to write scripts because John Singleton told him, if you can write a song telling a story, you can write a script. So I took that as like, do that. Let me see what I can come up with. And I did it differently. So it's like, okay, how can I do it differently as far as not just having a movie, but let's have a short film based around the song that I have. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I began my short film journey of just trying to separate myself from just being a rapper. Presenting you with more content, just music videos of me being in an abandoned building saying how hood I am or how much peddle drugs and blah, blah, blah with guns. And so I was like, let me be creative as possible, but still be me and tell stories because I love telling stories through music. So that's how it started.
A lot of people always talk about what made them have to move from their hometown to another state to grow creatively or grow their business. And this is pretty much Descendent going into detail about how, he moved from Virginia to North Carolina, then to New York.
Well, actually, I went from Virginia to Raleigh, North Carolina. I went to college out in Raleigh, North Carolina. After I graduated, I stayed in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I moved from Raleigh to New York. And I learned how to be I really learned how to be an independent artist in Raleigh, North Carolina, as far as having my own shows, going on tours, releasing songs. And this is when streaming was starting to, was like Spotify was everything, and going to networking events, put myself out there, traveling by myself. And you know what I'm saying? I didn't have an entourage. It was always me, dolo, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I hit a glass ceiling as far as creatively and business-wise as well in Raleigh, North Carolina. Although I was traveling outside, I was going to New York, I was going back home to Virginia, I was doing shows in Atlanta at the time, just that up and down that area from New York to Atlanta by myself, renting out cars, you know what I'm saying? And just trying to figure it out, going to open mics, getting booked for a show, then do an open mic before the show or after the show to make my trip worthwhile instead of just doing that one day and coming back. And to this day, I'm still in contact with a lot of those people that I was doing shows at that time. And no disrespect to the people I was around in North Carolina, but a lot of them had I'll say their ambitions didn't match up with mine, and it scared me to the point where it was almost like somebody that's satisfied with being where they at. And I'm like, I have so much more to grow and so much more potential than being here. And not just on some being in Raleigh, North Carolina, but at the level that I was at. So it made me uncomfortable, and I was like, I need to change. And talking to people like Knife Wonder, getting to talk to him, getting to talk to OGs that started and helped build the RDU, which is Raleigh Durham area, like DJ Damu, Sean Don, but now I think Sean Don's a DJ now, formerly from the Justice League, but now he works closely with Little Brother, and just getting people's point of view, right, on what to do, and I remember, it's funny. I don't know if you remember Cousin Jeff. Again, I may be aging myself. He used to be on BET and Rap City a lot. He used to have dreads. Now he doesn't have dreads anymore. But
Oh, wait.
Cut him off.
Oh, no. I'm thinking about the dude on 106 in Park when I was a kid. I'm thinking about him. Never mind. Because he used to have dreads, too. But it's not the same dude. I think his name was Free
AJ,
and AJ. Yeah.
But he used to, I just remember him being on Big Tigger Rap City in the basement a lot. And I had a conversation. He was like the last straw. And he used to have these men prayer lines in the morning. And before I would go to work, I would call in. And this one particular time, and he would pick random people every morning to speak about whatever they're going through and pray. They'll have a discussion. And it's not even long. I think it was like 15, 30 minutes, if that. And one morning, like, I was constantly on it faithfully. Because he spoke at my graduation in college as well. So I read his book, and I was following him on Instagram or Twitter, and that's when he had this prayer line for men. I forgot what he called it. Where we have a discussion, then pray, then start our day or whatever. But I remember having a conversation with him over the phone, and there's other men listening. And like, what you going through? And I was letting them know, I'm kind of in a position where I need to find out if I really have true talent. I'm in Raleigh, and everything is cool, but I feel like a big fish in a small pond, and I need to go to a bigger city to really test out if I have what it takes to really do this music thing. And I was just giving him my steps or what I already done to move in New York. But I'm asking him, do you think I need to move? And I'm already like halfway there.
Right.
And I remember him vividly saying, well, brother, it seems like you already made your mind is already made up. Like, you just need to go. And it seemed like I guess I was just waiting on confirmation from someone else, although I was already making a transition and to move. And he was like, yeah, sound like you just need to do it. Like, just do it. And that was my final straw to move from Raleigh, North Carolina to New York on a Greyhound. Yeah.
Overall, Descendent has 7 projects out, but if you want to count the one he did in high school, technically 8. I'm going to say 8 because he put in a lot of work on that project, so I'm going to say 8. But here is him naming all 7 of his projects.
Pass the Torch, Beats and Bars EP, Hear My Heart, Feel My Pain EP, Road to Greatness, Journey of a Lost Soul album, A Voice for the Voiceless album, Mentally Drained EP. It's another one. The compilation album that I did with my man Crisis. I'm counting that. No, I'm counting that. That because we worked hard on that. It was a compilation album, or collab album I did with a good friend of mine named Crisis. I can't remember the name of that one though, because that was like a very first like putting it together, blah blah blah. Yep. So yeah, seven. Excuse me.
Wow. Currently, Descendent is working on a new project, and he also has a new short film that is out making its rounds. Mostly at film festivals and stuff right now, but we're hoping that it'll be out somewhere to where all of us could see it. Hopefully, on some like movie streaming website or something. That would be awesome. But in the meantime, definitely go follow him on all platforms. Go check out his website. Check out his merch. I'm wearing it right now. I need to get some more myself because he got some good merch. So go and check out all that. All that will be in the description down below. And here are some last words of wisdom that Descendent would like to leave for you guys.
You get out what you put in. And the more work ethic you have, the better the outcome of the results that you want to see. The more sacrifices that you make, the better the reward in the end. I think so many times that as artists, we have this diva almost like attitude where just because you know me, you have to listen to my music. Just because we're friends or we're family, or I've been doing music for a long time, you have to listen. Nobody owes you nothing. You got to come with that mindset of you have to make people care, because honestly, nobody does. Everybody and their mama rap, or if you want to be a carpenter, everybody and their mama want to be a carpenter. Like, regardless of what occupation you're in, there's hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people that want to do the same thing. What is going to separate you from that? Your work ethic has to be non-stop. So you get out what you put in. The more work you put in, the more sacrifices that you have, the more blessings, the more success and opportunities will come your way. And keep in mind, I say the work you put in.
Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next Underground episode. If you're glad to be alive, show it to the world by purchasing one of Catrice Roots Productions' Glad to Be Alive merchandise. With each purchase you make from the Glad to Be Alive apparel, 10% will be donated to Ruffin Neurolab, and another 10% will be donated to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Ruffin Neurolab is a minority STEM program that educates the youth on neuroscience, and the National Multiple Sclerosis Society is a nonprofit that uplift and educate people on multiple sclerosis. So get your merchandise today and learn more by clicking the Glad to Be Alive campaign link in my bio or in the description below.